And now let's talk about where the other octaves are and how we can start to connect the dots as far as these diagonal shapes that happen, okay? So first, let's really talk about the diagonal stuff. A G here on our low string, our low E, 3rd fret, that's a low G, right? That's one specific octave of the G. We have another one at the 5th fret of the D string. Same note name, higher pitch. And then we have another one on our high E string at the 3rd fret. Don't believe me? Let's take a listen. Same notes, same notes. And these are what we would call reachable octaves, okay? And with reachable octaves, they're great. They're great for understanding where you can restart some phrases very easily. But I'm going to show you a different variation of that is our actual practice today. I want you to start the same. You're going to play the 3rd fret of the low E string, the 5th fret of the D string, but I want you to, instead of going back to a reachable octave, I want you to go to the 8th fret of the B string, 3rd of the low E, 5th of the D, 8th of the B string. And I just want you to go up and down like this. Now, this will become very useful and very clear why we're learning this here in a second. But for now, I want you to know those are the same notes. They're just in different starting locations. So now if we think about just maybe one little piece of our scale here and we play those over top, you'll see how it matches. Same, but again, higher pitch and frequency, but the same letter name, so they match. So that's an exercise I really recommend. Just going first, hitting those octaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and going up and down, ascending and descending. Do that 10 times, clean and even. Once you're done with that, just do these fret spacings of skipping every other fret and just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, at all of the different starting locations. And I want you to go up, obviously, and then come back down. And just repeat that. Because what we learn next is going to connect the dots, but we need to know exactly where we're moving to in these different areas. So those were what I would call diagonal octaves. Okay, and we can use these diagonal octaves to our advantage because we now know the starting points of each of them. So if all we remember is that anytime we come across the B string, we have to shift up toward the body of the guitar 1 fret to compensate for its tuning, everything else makes sense. If you don't believe me, let's look at the minor pentatonic starting at G. Okay, so 3, 6, 3, 5, 3. Once we hit that, if we slide up 2 frets, so 1, 2, toward the body of the guitar, we can restart that same pattern of the G minor pentatonic. And we go 5, 8, 5, 7. Remember, we have to shift for the B string. So that's where we would go 6. And then we slide up 1, 2 frets toward the body of the guitar, and we're at fret 8 right now. And we can now go 8, 11, 8, 10. Same notes, we're just using diagonal octaves to connect them. Take a listen. you can see that, again, it's the same movement. The only thing we're having to consider in the process is what's going on with our B string. That's really the only consideration we need to make, as long as we memorize where those diagonal octaves are. So I recommend you go through doing that minor pentatonic and sliding into each starting position that we just worked on, which was 3rd fret of low E, 5th fret of the A, 8th fret of the B, and you just find the way to glide into that next one, remembering the B string shift and just gliding up. Okay, do that 10 times, clean and even, and with that, life becomes very, very easy and very fun. So let's do it together, but very slow. Very slow. Again, I'll go over it one more time. We're going from 3, 6, 3, 5, 3, and we're on that D string now. We slide up to the 5th fret, 5, 8, 5, 7, and then on the B string, we start at the 6th fret, slide up to the 8th, and then we're at 8, 11, 8, 10. Let's go through this a couple times together, nice and slow, to let the diagonal octaves cook in. Good work. Well done. Well done. So this is the idea of diagonal octaves, okay? And I love diagonal octaves. I use them all the time in my playing, and they're very movable as well, right? So if I wanted to shift here, I now know all of the different spacings, as long as I maintain the fret counts in between, to where I can do this stuff. So if I wanted to start that on an A minor pentatonic, great. I've got it right here. I now know exactly where I can go. If I wanted to start it at an E minor, okay, all right, I know where I can go here. Perfect, it's done. So it's all movable, that's the thing. So with the diagonal ones, all the things I gave you, don't move on until you've done each individually 10 times clean and even, okay?